Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Melissa here and we're doing something a little bit different on the channel. Because I don't often post build videos, I thought it would be fun to switch things up and walk you through my process for this one. So as you guys can probably tell from the title and the thumbnail, this build is a cafe and an apartment combination, with the cafe located downstairs and a small apartment upstairs. So this build is actually for my Brew Bloom Legacy challenge, specifically for the main sim at the moment, Blake. So she will be moving to Nordhaven and purchasing this lot. So the space is going to play a really big role in her story kind of going forward. So I like to imagine that this area, I believe it's Iverstad, is a refreshed industrial suburb, somewhere that kind of used to be full of warehouses, but has been slowly modernized over time, and a lot of the older buildings have been converted into homes or retail spaces. And this lot is a mix of the both, which I really love for Blake. I feel like it really matches her vibe of being like the Espresso generation. So when working on the exterior, I spent a lot of time kind of looking around the surrounding neighborhood to make sure everything felt cohesive. Builds like this are really a little outside of my comfort zone, but I actually had so much fun with it, and I'm really happy with how it kind of turned out. I'm always looking for improvement, so if you guys see anything that you think could be a cool addition, let me know in the comments. I'm so down to hear all your suggestions. But story-wise, Blake wouldn't realistically be able to afford a lot like this outright. So in my head, she's taking out a pretty significant loan to purchase the property. So she'll be paying it over time through the cafe business, which I think feels really realistic and adds a nice layer of pressure to her storyline. I like the idea of her really kind of grinding to pay this loan off and slowly try and make a profit with her business. And I think it's quite realistic. Most people, when they start a business, they take out a loan because it's really hard to kind of get things started off with just your personal income. So the cafe itself is designed to feel already established. So me personally, when I was doing this lot, I was trying to think about the storyline kind of behind it, what's kind of happened. My thinking is this was originally a warehouse that has been renovated. I like to imagine that the previous owners here had been living here, working here for many years. They've already done the hard work of renovating the kitchen, setting everything up, and building a successful business. But I like to think over time they got burnt out. Running a cafe is a lot of early mornings, it's a lot of long hours, and very, very little time off. And I think they reached a point where they were financially comfortable, but emotionally exhausted. So instead of waiting for the business to struggle, they decided to sell while it was still doing well. So I really like that idea because it kind of explains why this space feels quite polished and established, but it also adds a little bit of realism and maybe a little bit of foreshadowing on Blake's future. So one of the most challenging parts of this build was definitely the kitchen layout. I wanted to make sure it felt functional and that the flow made sense for employees moving between the cafe, kitchen, and the bakery space. It took a bit of trial and error. You guys will see me fiddling around with it a bit. But I'm happy with how cohesive it ended up feeling. I don't think it's perfect. I definitely think there's some things I could probably change or rework, but I'm really flexible. I'm so open to changing things later on during gameplay as well. But overall, I wanted the cafe to feel warm, organic and welcoming, somewhere that kind of feels a bit, lived in, and inviting rather than like it being really fresh and brand new. So Blake will be selling baked goods here. So I've left some space for that to evolve during gameplay. So I've left a few shelves open. I'm not too sure how it's going to play out, but we'll see it once we kind of get into the game and actually using the space. So the build will most likely change over time once it's properly gameplay tested. But for now, I'm actually really loving where it's at. So from memory, I think this build took me between 3 to 4 hours. And yeah, it was a whole experience. Editing was definitely an experience, but honestly, it was so worth it. I had so much fun, kind of stepping outside of my comfort zone, for this build and this whole process. So yeah, like the exterior as well. I had a bit of trouble here with like aligning. I don't know what you guys would call this, rafters, the shades. I come back and I play with this a lot, but you guys can kind of let me know what you prefer or what you think kind of works better. But yeah, this build was definitely a really fun experience for me. But I'm gonna let the rest of the build play out with some music now, so feel free to relax and watch the process, or maybe skip ahead to the final shots if you'd like, whatever you feel like. But again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of the Brew Bloom Legacy Challenge. Bye!
I like to be educated, but I'm so frustrated.